Shalom, everybody. Shalom and welcome back to Shield of Immunity. For those that don't know, I am Herbalist Uriah. Today, I want to be discussing I'm going to be discussing the lymphatic system. What is the purpose of the lymphatic system? And basically, what is it? So as you can see on the screen today, I'm using the screen today. As you can see, this is an image of the lymphatic system, the lymphatic vessels. And basically, what the lymphatic system is, to give a basic understanding of what it is basically an elimination system of the body. One of the most important elimination systems of the body, where most people don't really talk about it as much. Whenever people speak about the lymphatic system, or shall I say, whenever they speak about the so-called immune system, we have to remember that this system right here is basically the defense system and an elimination system of the body. So it's basically like a two-in-one system. It's dealing with eliminations and it's dealing with defense. So this system right here, if you was to put an image of the so-called immune system, this would be the image of the so-called immune system. So because inside of this system, you find all of your white blood cells. Inside of this system, this is the system where everything gets filtrated inside of the body. So your blood filtrates through this system. This system contains something called lymph. And what lymph is basically kind of like mucus. And with this lymph is like all over inside of the body. This system is basically like 5 to 10 times bigger than the circulatory system. So what this lymph this lymph collects acids, it collects cellular waste, it collects everything in foreign invaders inside of the body, everything that the body or that is toxic to the body. This system deals with that. It deals with eliminating all of these different problems. So this system is very important. In the brain, this system is called the lymphatic system. And in the body, this is called the lymphatic system. And this is just a big elimination system of the body. You can almost call it a sewer system of the body. So, as you can see, it goes all throughout the entire body. Underneath the armpits, all throughout the neck, everything. And what these little balls is right here, these are called lymph nodes. And inside of these little lymph nodes, they are basically like checkpoints that everything have to circulate through. This is what filters out the lymph. As the lymph travels in, it filters out through these little checkpoints. So if this lymph got any type of bacteria, bad bacteria, acids, cellular waste, it all filters out through these little checkpoints. And inside these checkpoints, this is where you find your white blood cells, the lymphocytes and the macrophages and stuff like that. All these two different type of white blood cells. You find them inside here, and what they do is they eat up and break down these different acids and foreign invaders and so-called viruses and whatever you want to call it. That's the job of these little lymph nodes. And as you can see, there's so many of them. So that's why this is the true immune system. There is no strengthening of the immune system if you are not talking about the lymphatic system. Don't get tricked by the word immune system. This is the true so-called immune system. So in order for you to strengthen your body, in order for your body to be operating the correct way, this lymphatic system must be operating correctly, because this is the true defense system of the body. This is the true defense system of the body. Okay? So we're going to move on to the next picture, which is this picture right here. Now, This is basically a picture of arteries, which carries basically oxygenated blood and basically nutrient dense blood and everything to feed the cells all throughout the body. This is what the arteries do. Bring blood that's oxygenated from the lungs and heart, and it pumps it all over throughout the body. So this oxygenated blood, as you can see, is traveling down, and then it gets inside of these little capillaries right here. And as you can see, this is where it exchanges. As it filters this blood, as it oxygenates certain cells, as you can see, this is a tissue cells right here. This blood is oxygenating this part of the body. And as it goes down to oxygenate different parts of the body and whatnot. But as it oxygenates certain parts of the body right here, of course, these cells are going to get the nutrients and get everything else, and then the blood is going to travel through and get back into this vein, and this vein is going to go back up to basically re-oxygenate the blood all over again. It's just a cycle that's just going to keep on repeating. But look at this little green vessel right here. This is the main thing that we really want to be focusing on. As you can see, the arrow not only goes straight to the veins to get oxygenated, this arrow actually goes through this lymph vessel over here. Now remember, this is the elimination chamber. This is the system that is picking up waste, because each and every one of these cells right here has an elimination process that they go through, similar to how you go to the restroom after basically eliminate waste. After you eat, you eliminate. So these cells, you are made up of trillions of these cells, and each and every one of these cells eliminate just like you. They are basically miniature you that's all over the body, and each and every one of these things actually go to the restroom and have waste. And also throughout the blood is picking up acids from what you eat, and plus just the basic processing of the body, it creates acids. So all of these different things that is toxic to the body must filter out and go through the so-called lymphatic system, or aka also known as the sewer system. Okay, so the sewer system. So basically, after it filters out through the sewer system, well, basically after it goes inside of the sewer system, it travels through to basically cleanse out all of this waste from all of these different cells. Now, as you can see, I want to quickly touch on the interstitial fluid very quickly. As you can see, the interstitial fluid. Now, this is where all diseases basically spring from. Whenever this system gets backed up, okay, whenever this system, this green little system right here, whenever it gets backed up and things cannot filtrate correctly, so that's whenever all of the waste stays out inside of these systems right here. Now, as you can see, the interstitial fluid, let me zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in on that real quick, if I can. Now, inside of this interstitial fluid, now basically the interstitial fluid is basically just these little spaces that's between tissues, between cells and everything else, just this empty space. Now, if this system is basically not filtrating properly, it's going to overflow. All of the waste is going to overflow and get inside of these interstitial spaces. And whenever these interstitial spaces, it has all these different wastes and acids, and the cell still is trying to take a poop or still trying to eliminate waste from themselves, and the waste don't have nowhere to go, that's whenever this is the beginning of diseases, the beginning of so-called disease. So now these cells are going to start dying off because of the waste is not successfully eliminating through this system. So this is the interstitial fluid. Whenever this system gets backed up, all of the waste will end up staying inside of this interstitial fluid. Next thing you know, your cells is dying off. Next thing you know, you have bad problems going on inside the body. And then it can, things could get so bad where it can even start damaging the blood and polluting the blood. And then that's whenever you could basically die quickly because the blood's supposed to hold itself at a certain pH level. But this is the beginning of problems if this system is not operating correctly and circulating correctly. So now we're going to zoom out and go to the next image. So I'm basically just giving y'all the basic understanding of the lymphatic system. So now we're going to go to the next image. We ain't going to spend too much time on this image. This is basically a closer image of how the lymph nodes are, and basically how the lymph vessels goes all over and wraps around all of these different arteries and veins. And as you can see, there are like little checkpoints. People, what you're seeing is the so-called immune system. This is the true so-called immune system. Okay, the lymphatic system is the immune system. Let's just put it like that. But we need to just really eliminate the word immune system, and let's just talk about the lymphatic system. Okay, because this is the defense system. As you can see, look at all of these different lymph nodes, all up on these arteries, all up on these veins, all up on these arteries. The arteries is the red, the veins is the blue. So just look how it's doing its job. Basically, how it's in the defense system, how the blood would just circulate and get filtered out through all of these different lymph nodes, killing and eating up all the bad things that's not supposed to be inside your body. You see that? That's the true defense system right here. You know, this is the true defense system. And it's all over the body, all throughout the body. The problem happens whenever this system is not being filtrated out through the kidneys or through sweating through your skin. That is the two ways on how you filtrate this system. If you're not filtrating this system through the kidneys or through sweating, then this system is going to get backed up, and then you are in trouble. You are in serious trouble. Okay? So we're going to move on to the next image. This is a closer image of the lymph nodes we were just looking at. So the lymph will basically go in through these lymph vessels. This is where it goes in at. So all of these different vessels is called afferent lymph vessels. It goes in through here, through these vessels right here. And in these different segments inside of the lymph node, you will find all kinds of white blood cells that would eat up all the bad bacteria, eat up all the acids, toxins, so-called diseases, viruses, whatever you want to call it. This defense system will be eating up everything that do not belong inside the body. And then after that, it filters out. After the filtered lymph, which is basically like a mucus, after it gets filtered out, it will leave this lymph vessel. And this lymph vessel is called the efferent or efferent lymph vessel. This is where it exits out the lymph node, filtered out. And if you also look here, you will see the arteries and the veins going inside of this lymph node also. And what that is doing, it is basically oxygenating this lymph node, feeding the cells of this lymph node, and also it's filtering out the blood at the same time. This is what these arteries are doing. And as you can see, it would, after it basically feeds this lymph node and brings the oxygen that it needs to sustain itself, it will filter right back out. You know, so you would have clean blood leaving this lymph node because the cells are all throughout here eating up all the bacteria. So everything is getting filtered out through these lymph nodes, and then it gets out of this system, out of this lymph node, and then it gets, you know, sometimes it goes through many different lymph nodes. So even after it leaves out of this lymph vessel right here, it would just go to another lymph node. You know, because look how many of them are there. It'll probably just go to another one. You see, say if it just left one of these lymph nodes, it'll go through another one and get filtered out again. You know, so that's just the way how it works. So this is the true defense system of the body. Okay? Whenever you're talking about the body's defense, just look at the lymphatic system. This is where all diseases spring from, because it is not filtering out properly. I can't stress that enough. Okay. Let's go on to the next image. Let's see what we got next. Let's see what we got next over here. Okay. We are going to go to... Man, we're moving pretty fast. We're moving really fast over here. Okay, we're going to go to this. Thyroid cancer. This is an image of thyroid cancer. This is a healthy thyroid to the left. See how it looks all nice and clean and pretty. See that? The lymph nodes. See how the lymph, you see again, look how the lymphatic system is all throughout this area. All throughout this area. As an elimination area for each and every one of these cells. Remember, your whole body is made up of cells. Okay, so all of these different cells has cellular waste. And waste can build up throughout the entire body. That's why the Most High made this lymphatic system inside the body. You know, so this lymphatic system is going to bring out all of these different wastes, different types of waste and toxins from the body. So now as we look to our right hand side, as we can see, we have problems. Thyroid cancer, so-called thyroid cancer. Okay, so what is the problem going on here? This cancer is developing because this lymphatic system is not filtering out the waste properly. Most likely, more than likely, they have a stagnated lymphatic system. And whenever this system gets stagnated, the waste from these different parts, this particular gland, which is the thyroid gland right here, it wouldn't be able to leave out of this system because this lymphatic system is backed up, so it cannot filter out the waste from this system. So what happens, just like I explained before, the waste stays on top of the glands, the waste stays on top of the organs, different organs, and it starts to kill the cells. Whenever the cells start to die off, that's whenever they start to basically renew themselves as another dying cell. So this is what you would call cancer. The cells are basically reprogramming themselves or reproducing themselves as another dying cell and clumping together like this. But what is the cause of this? That is because of you have too much acids going on inside the body that's not being filtered out through this lymphatic system. This lymphatic system is backed up. So everything revolves around keeping this lymphatic system filtering out the body properly. If this lymphatic system is not being filtered out the body properly, then problems like this will occur. Okay, so in this particular case right here with thyroid cancer or any type of cancer, you would have to look at the lymphatic system. Make sure this lymphatic system is moving correctly, filtering out all of this thing. And as you can see, if we zoom in, we see that the so-called cancer is inside of the lymphatic system. So this is where it would be eliminating from. Okay, this is where it will be eliminating from. Of course, all of these different toxins and cancerous cells would have to get broken down by the white blood cells inside of these lymph nodes. That's why this lymphatic system must stay filtered out and strengthened at all times, because it got to be able to break down all of these different acids. And that's another reason why you should not be eating acidic foods, because then your body will become too acidic. And also not eating meat and things that forms into mucus, because all these different things is what blocks up this system right here. Okay, all these different things is what clogs up this lymphatic system and basically shuts down the filter to the lymphatic system, which is the kidneys, or the third kidney, which is the skin, which is the largest organ of the body, which is the skin. Okay, so these are really the only two ways you can basically filter out this lymphatic system. The way how you move the lymphatic system is through movement or through herbs. You have to move your body, get lymphatic massages. You have to get you can do skin brushing to move this lymphatic system. But remember, you can move it, but if it's going to the kidneys to get filtered out and the kidneys is not operating correctly, then you'll basically kind of just be wasting your time. So these things get filtered out through the kidneys or the skin. So sweating through the skin or getting these kidneys to filter out this system. Once this system will get filtered out, then all of this piled up waste and that caused the cells to die and clunk up together, which is cellular mitosis. The cells are basically reproducing themselves as another dying cell and clumping together. Once this lymphatic system will get filtered out, it will start and basically strengthen back again. It will start pulling and cleansing all of this stuff from this thyroid gland. And then next thing you know, the cells will be regenerating themselves as healthier cells. And then your cancer, so-called cancer, would be gone. So all it is a stagnated problem. Okay, a backed up sewer system. The sewer system backed up, and now all of the waste is spilling on the floors, are basically spilling inside of the house and not getting filtered out through this system. Okay, so that's kind of like if your toilet overflowed inside your house and now the waste stayed on your floors, and then after that you left it on the floors and didn't clean up the mess, and then after that all of this waste and all of this toxic stuff started killing and eating through the wood of your floors or penetrating through the walls of your floors, and then after that it started damaging the floors and the walls, and next thing you know it gets rotten and you can't even basically the restroom is not even operationable no more. You can't even use it anymore. So that's basically what's going on in this thyroid gland. Okay, so the only way to fix this problem is to unclog this toilet, unclog this sewer system, and then get this thing's flushing back again and bringing it to these septic tanks so the septic tanks can eat up all this bacteria. So I hope y'all understand what's going on here. I hope y'all truly understand what's going on in this particular image. You know, they really like to scare us with all these big words like cancer and all this other stuff, you know, but all of these different things is all because of stagnation in a constipated body. Remember, the lymphatic system deals with the cellular waste. Okay, all of the waste that's dealing with the cells. Whenever the cellular waste can't get filtered out, it causes problems like this. So keep that in mind. The lymphatic system, the lymphatic system, the lymphatic system is the key to healing all diseases. This system will pull all things that do not belong inside the body out the body. You just got to have it operating correctly and not stagnated. Okay? Let's move on to the next image. We're already 24 minutes, about 24 minutes in the video. I don't want to make it too long. I'm just giving y'all a basic understanding of the lymphatic system. Okay? And I haven't uploaded in a minute, so I just wanted to come through and, you know, do a little something. So, let's see. The next image we're going to go to, let's touch on this image real quickly. And the reason why I'm pulling up this image, this is not the lymphatic system, but I'm pulling up this image basically because I want to show y'all how important the lymphatic system is within this system. So what we're looking at is the liver, gallbladder, the stomach, the duodenum, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, the pancreas. This little tubes right here is called the common bile duct. This is called the pancreatic duct. What these things do is secrete digestive enzymes. This is basically your digestive system. Okay? So whenever you eat, of course, your food will come down the esophagus. It will come down the esophagus. There's a doorway that's supposed to be here called the cardiac sphincter. This cardiac sphincter opens up and let the food inside of the stomach, which is also known as the time capsule. Now, basically, the stomach is like the oven that cooks and breaks down the food. Okay? Now, once the food breaks down, remember, this is basically a hollow tube. From the moment your food goes inside your mouth, or from air enters your mouth, all of these things is a hollow tube. Okay? Nothing really goes inside of the bloodstream, or nothing really truly gets inside of your body until it passes through and breaks down through this system. All of this is basically a hollow tube that goes through. And then this, if it was to continue on, it will go to the further parts of the small intestines, which is about 30 feet long. Okay, that's why you got to be eating things that's easy for the body to break down. Meat ain't gonna cut it. Milk ain't gonna cut it. All these things form mucus and forms all these different acids that is gonna kill your body and stagnate your lymphatic system and stagnate this stagnate this digestive system and these small intestines and everything. You know, processed foods ain't gonna cut it because it don't successfully break down correctly. All these different oils ain't gonna cut it. The simplest things to break down is fruits and vegetables. These are the things you should be eating because these are things that the body can break down without forming into all of these different things that's going to harm the body and stagnate the body and constipate the body. Okay, so once the food would break down in here, if you eat meat, the meat ain't gonna be fully broken down because the stomach can't really fully break down the meat. The meat is too complex in proteins. But I don't want to get too far off track here from the lymphatic system. So basically, once it would leave once your food would leave this area, then this little tube right here called the duodenum, this is where all of your absorption take place at. So the reason why your stomach is breaking these things down into the smallest particles, smallest nutrients possible is because if whatever you eat gotta get absorbed in through this system right here. Everything gets broken down to the smallest particle to be absorbed in through here. That's why we're supposed to be eating and chewing our food great, very good. You know, so it can help the stomach out break down these things so it can be better absorbed for better nutrient absorption. You know, but if you're eating things that can't be broken down correctly, you will not be getting proper nutrition because everything gets absorbed in through this duodenum right here. This is where your absorption take place. Now, the reason why I brought up this image is because remember this system. This is where everything gets absorbed in through. Everything that's coming from the outside, which you're putting inside your mouth, is going to be absorbed in through here. Now, let's go on to the next image. Now, before we move on to the next image, now inside of this little tube here, there's something called villi. It's basically like little small little straw-like things is very tiny, very, very tiny. And these are the things that all of the nutrients get pulled into the body inside of the bloodstream. Okay? After it breaks down through the stomach. And before I leave this image, the liver is secreting digestive enzymes also. This is what the liver is doing, secreting digestive enzymes. The bile coming from the bile coming from the liver, it gets stored up inside the gallbladder, concentrated inside the gallbladder, and then all this thing is basically digestive enzymes. And the pancreas from the pancreatic duct is secreting digestive enzymes also. And all of these different enzymes go inside this duodenum for whenever the food leaves the stomach to further break down the food. So all of these different digestive enzymes is going inside of this system to further break down the food. You see? So that's the way how this system is working. All of these things are basically working together to break down food. This is the digestive system. Okay? So microvilli will pull in all of these broken down foods inside of the bloodstream. Now let's quickly go to the next image. Now these is the intestinal villi. Now the reason why I went through the digestive system very quickly is to basically prove this point right here, to show y'all this point about the lymphatic system. Now, inside of all of these trillions and trillions of little microvilli that's all over inside of the small intestines and the duodenum, pulling in nutrients after it leave the stomach, you know, further broken down by the liver and the pancreas, the enzymes that is secreting to further break down, because enzymes participate in breaking down things. Okay, so after it gets broken down, then these little microvilli things right here, microvilli, intestinal villi, whatever you want to call it, pulls in the nutrients, pulls in all of the nutrients that's going to feed the cells of the body, feed the different parts of the body with the nutrients. Okay, but look at this little green vessel right here. You see how this lymphatic vessel, you see it's not just about the arteries and the veins. Look at this little green vessel right here that is inside of the villi. You see how important the lymphatic system is? So even before the things get inside of the bloodstream, you still have this defense system right here that's pulling all of the waste that could be coming through to harm the body. Okay, if things that you eat is not good for the body, all of these lymphatic vessels right here is gonna basically get pushed inside of this lymphatic vessel, and then it's gonna travel to these lymph nodes. Remember the lymph nodes that we just went over, and then it's gonna get filtered out and eaten up by the white blood cells, the macrophages, and the lymphocytes that's basically inside of these different parts. That's why I'm saying this is the true so-called immune system. The lymphatic system is the immune system. Get the lymphatic system moving correctly, and this is your defense system of your body. Whatever you get, whatever sickness you get, I don't care what it is, it can be eliminated through this system if you have this system operating correctly. So as you can see, all of these millions and trillions of little villi right here has these little lymph vessels inside of it. So everything that's going inside of the bloodstream before it enters the body, before it enters the blood, is getting filtered. It will get, if it don't belong, it will get pushed inside of these lymph vessels. And as you see, if we would zoom in even closer into this image, these are the capillaries. As you can see, the capillary network. This is where basically, this is like the exchange station right here. It's exchanging things through these systems right here. This is where some of the things that don't belong inside the blood will get pushed inside of this lymphatic vessel, and this lymphatic vessel will go to, you already know it, these lymph nodes to get filtered out. You see how that works? You see why I say this is the true defense system of the body? This is where all of your diseases would go at. This is where all of the waste will go at if it don't belong inside the body. If this system is not filtered out correctly through your kidneys, if your kidneys is not functioning correctly to filter this system out that is all over the body. Look how much of it is in the gut. And if this is a more detailed picture, you will see a lot more lymphatic vessels throughout this area. This is one of the most potent areas where it's at. That's why they say the so-called, basically the so-called immune system is 70%. 70% of it is in the gut. You know, but we eliminating the word immune system. We see the lymphatic system is very high in the gut. Like I said, if this is a more detailed picture, it is very, very, very much potent inside of the gut. Okay, so this is your true defense system of the body. It runs all over throughout the body. And this is another reason why you sweat underneath your armpits right here. You see all these lymph nodes underneath your armpit? Is whenever you sweat underneath your armpit, it's basically filtrating these lymph nodes out, and it's pushing this lymph vessels, basically pushing the toxins outside of the body through sweating. Okay, so that's why it's good to sweat. It's good to have those kidneys operating the correct way. Okay, so that's just a basic understanding of the lymphatic system. You know, They have ways how you can speed up the process of eliminating waste from the lymphatic system. Of course, you gotta target the kidneys, and you also gotta get herbs that can target the lymphatic system, also that can break down and basically loosen up the stagnations of the lymphatic system. Because remember, lymph is just mucus that is inside of this system. The mucus is basically acting like an alkalizing agent to go and alkalize acidic parts of the body and pull acids inside of this system. And then this mucus will basically travel, or what you will call lymph, will basically travel through this green vein, these green vessels, and it would get filtered out through these lymph nodes, and then further to filter out the entire system will get filtered out through kidneys or through sweating. Okay, so that's why you got to be making sure your kidneys is filtrating properly. And the way how you would check to see if your kidneys is filtrating properly is you would urinate inside of a glass. The first urine of the day, you would urinate inside of a glass and let it sit inside a glass, and you should be able to see basically a cloudiness or a type of foam that or sediment that sits at the bottom of the cup, and that's showing that your kidneys is filtrating, basically filtrating the lymphatic system. If you're not seeing no type of settlements or no type of cloudiness in your urine, or if your urine is just straight clear in the morning, that means that your kidneys is not doing its job at all. So you're not supposed to have clear urine the first urine of the day. Now if you're drinking water throughout the day, then that's okay for your urine to become clear. But your first urination of the day should not be clear. Okay, so basically that's what you would do. You would basically urinate inside of a cup, a glass, and let it sit about 8 to 24 hours. I'll just let it sit, overnight, whatever, or let it sit throughout the entire day and just monitor it, look at it, and see if you start seeing settlements at the bottom of the glass. And that's the way how you would see if your kidneys is filtrating the system. So whenever you get on my protocols that I would do, on my formulas, on my herbs, I would always recommend y'all a lymphatic cleanse, a way to move this lymphatic system. Okay, because I can't just target, let's say if you're having problems with your let's just backtrack and let's just go back to the thyroid gland right here, just to make things easy. Let's say if you was having thyroid problems, I can't just recommend you herbs to help the thyroid out without properly targeting this lymphatic system. That'll basically be me just doing a halfway job. I'll be giving you herbs to strengthen this system right here, but what if this system right here, the lymphatic system, is backed up? That can be what's causing and making your thyroid gland weak from the jump. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always recommend a systematic cleanse. It's not about just dealing with the particular organ that you're having problems with. It's about healing holistically. Okay? One problem leads to the next problem. And then this problem, it ties into another problem, which would be the kidneys. Okay? And if you're having kidney problems, that will tie into another problem. You know what I'm saying? So you got to heal holistically. You got to deal with all the different parts of the body, especially the elimination parts of the body. It's all about elimination. The first part of healing is elimination. Basically, you want to get everything that deals with elimination under control. So, and that means your lymphatic system, which is dealing with the cellular waste, and then that also deals with the digestive system through this big tube right here that's dealing with the macro elimination things. The food that's not broken down, it would eliminate, and that's what you would poop out. But the cells, they poop just like you, but the lymphatic system deals with the micro waste. The macro waste it goes through this system, and the micro waste from the cells goes through the lymphatic system, this system right here. So both systems have to be fully operational, fully being filtered out and not being stagnated. Because if it is, that is the first sign and the first causes of so-called disease. Don't be afraid by these words that the so-called doctors give you. Is basically very simple. You eat foods to keep these systems from being constipated and cellularly backed up. Okay? Alkalining the body is key to healing. Filtration is key to healing. Whenever the body accumulates all of these different wastes and things like that, that's whenever problems will occur. So this is Uriah, Herbalist Uriah, with Shield of Immunity. I just want to come and bring y'all a little quick, brief, basic understanding of the lymphatic system, and just drop a little bit of knowledge. I haven't been on here in a minute. I'll try to be a little bit more consistent with my videos, but I was just coming over here to give y'all a basic understanding of the lymphatic system. So I just want to end it off by saying peace and healing and best health to y'all. Make sure y'all eating alkaline. Don't eat nothing that's going to clog up your arteries, clog up your blood, your circulatory systems, your lymphatic system. Don't clog up none of these different elimination systems of the body, because if you do, disease is on the way. Okay, so this is Herbalist Uriah with Shield of Immunity. I'm out, in peace and best healing.